Hello and welcome back down to Workbench. Today we're taking a look at the Ryobi garage door opener wall control module for my Ryobi garage door system. So you're looking at two in front of you here, and they look very similar. One looks slightly more used with some grease and dirt on the main open close button. The other one looks a little more clean. So what's the difference between the two? Well, there's a big difference between the two. The one on the right is the one that came with the unit that is battery powered. The backing plate for this is still screwed to the wall, and this is the wireless module. And the one on the left, this is the one that's the source of or has been the source of a lawsuit involving Chamberlain against Ryobi or TTI. And this is the actual wired or hardwired variant of it that came with the original first generation of this garage door opener. And so this, you can see a terminal for positive and a negative for the wire. And so I was able to get my hands on this through the power of the internet due to the patent litigations that have been going on. I'm not going to say where I got this, but just do a little bit of Googling, and the part number on the back of this one here is GDA 400. Find your favorite used part auction site, and there's a chance that you may be able to come across one of these if you set your alerts up right. Because there is a third-party marketplace for this. I paid about 40 bucks for it. And so you're asking, well, why did I pay 40 bucks for it? Well, number one, besides it just being cool to have since they don't make those anymore, the wireless module that Ryobi replaced this with, I feel like has worked probably about 80% of the time. But the 80% of the time has been the difference, at least for me, between my wife saying, hey, the garage door works, and the garage door has a problem, because I've definitely taken a couple calls from my wife while I've been at work saying that the garage door won't go up or won't go down when she pushes the button, and she's had to open and use the keypad outside, being more reliable than the keypad inside, or the buttons here to operate, in my case, the fan or the Bluetooth speaker, not always responding as immediately as I want it to, or the light. Sometimes it seems to take an extra few seconds or a couple extra tries for it to actually operate, and just doesn't seem to have the robust consistency that I would expect from the product. I think that has to do with the radio signal and the line of sight connection between this and the little receiver that's mounted on the garage door. Just for perspective, here's where the current opener, the wireless one, is mounted on the wall. If I turn the camera, hopefully, and put it right next to it, you can see the line of sight between that and the opener. It does go over the top of the SUV, but it definitely has a line of sight to the receiver. Just maybe it's just not reliable enough. I don't know. That's just kind of the issue and at the crux of why we're doing this. And so just to improve the wife acceptance factor on this garage door opener, that's why I sought this out. Had I been really satisfied with this, I probably would have not even bothered to worry with this. I mean, the one positive of this is it gets rid of the AA batteries. But since this is hardwired mounted on the side of the garage door, having that hardwire, it doesn't bother me one bit, because you got to have the wires already in place for the cameras. And so since we've got these two units side by side, I thought it'd be interesting now to do a little dissection of the two to see what's changed between the two of these, since this has been the source of much litigation. So if we go side by side here, the wireless one on the right's got the batteries here. We'll take the batteries out. And if we look at the back side, you can see on the wireless variant versus the wired, we got some slight variances in the screw terminals that we've got. And we've got a board on the right side here. Let's use a Phillips head screwdriver and we'll remove this board right quick. Now, being wireless, you'd expect there to be an antenna of some sort in play. Now, if I push this up, I can remove this board here, and this comes up just like this. I'm not going to be able to remove it out all the way, because as you can see, there's a connection to the batteries up top. But I can roll this over a bit, and we can see, maybe that'll balance there. There we go. That there's our switches for our various buttons. There are no LEDs on this one to light up at night. If we look at the hardwired variant, this one does not require an antenna because it actually plugs into the wire. I may need to loosen these screws up here. And then we pop out the board and we flip it over. And now we look at these two boards side by side. We can see the wired one here is well marked with the words TTI at the top. Hopefully you can make that out. Version 3.0. And this looks like it has a manufacture date of 2016, February 22nd. And on this you can see the switches. The switches look almost exactly the same. A few extra components here. And if you can make it out, I believe on a couple of these there's an LED that's located right here, marked LED 1 on the board, and right here LED 2, whereas the battery operated one uses no LEDs, presumably to be able to save battery life between the two. This seems like there's definitely more circuitry here for being able to deal with the various buttons and what's on the wireless module. No antenna over here. On the wires, on the wireless one, I can see on the back side this says ANT50, which I presume to be the antenna, as being this embedded lead here that just wraps around the side. So it'd be nice if this was a much larger, more robust antenna. Maybe that would help with the reception issues. And so that's just held in place with the one. And if we look at the buttons themselves, I can't see any difference in how the buttons are set up here. It's a one-piece button set up here. This is obviously more rubberized plastic, and these feel like harder plastics, but it's just a one-piece button panel here that pops into the front. This side here says up. It's a slightly different mold because this one has to make room for the batteries in it, and so they had to revise that and change the posts on the bottom here, because those are the posts used for the terminals of the connecting wire. Although it's interesting, if you look over here, those same posts are right there, and instead of there being terminal screws there, it looks like it's the same two screws in terms of size. It actually holds it on, whether you're looking at the wired or the wireless. So it looks like those screws are the same. There's the extra screw at the top on the wired one that secures the top of the board in place. That can't be here. This is a shorter board and had to make room for the batteries. So I think I can fish this back in and put this back together without any problem here. This one has a manufacture date. Let's see if there's a date on it. 2017, November 17th. So November 17th of 2017, I believe, is the date on this one. This is GDA 401 V2. Not sure what variant 1 or V1 is in regards to that, but I've got the V2 variant here. And so we'll see if we can fish this back together. And then we're going to install the wired version of this into my garage and connect it up to the opener and see if there's any compatibility issues with doing that. So off camera, I'm going to screw these back together and then we'll come back for the installation. So now I'm getting ready to wire the wired one up. It's interesting looking at this at the top here. You can see there's a slot for the wire to go out if you need a vertical run of your wire going along the side of your wall, or if you've got a through the wall operation, such as if it also goes through your wall. There was not really a good way to do this, and the previous owner of this had actually drilled out a couple of holes here to make room for the wire on the back. Ryobi apparently never really considered the fact that you might have the wire come out through the wall rather than going up along the surface of the wall. Definitely a cleaner look if your garage supports that, but for whatever reason Ryobi did not consider that in their design, so someone had to go ahead and drill, looks like about 2¼ inch holes there side by side to make enough room to come out. But this side here has a little recess where you could just simply pull the wire out. So interesting choice. And so I'm just going to use this as a regular set of just 2-wire bell wire, and I'm going to pay attention to which side gets the plus and which side gets the minus. Some wires are red and white. These are both white here on this specific bit of bell wire. As you note, this bell wire is not official Ryobi bell wire. This is a 2-wire bell wire strand that I kind of commandeered from an Insteon garage door control kit that I had that I'm not using, that I had reused the parts for other purposes. And so I'm just going to use this because it's white and my walls are white, so it'll blend in a little bit easier. and there's no markings on here other than one wire has the gray on it. I'm going to put the gray side towards the positive. I'm going to need to kind of shape these wires, I think, a little bit to get around the terminals before screwing them down. Alright, so you can see we've got the wires here in place. Before I snap the back on, this is going to need to get affixed to the wall. I'll use existing screws from the old one to be able to put that up, and then I'll have to fish the other end of the wire up to the opener. And we'll set that down right next to the battery opener one. Now, time to get out the same plate. Let's put the plates side by side on top of each other, and let's see how the holes line up. Uh-oh, it looks like the holes are not in perfect alignment, which is interesting. Well, maybe I can kind of line them up. It'll be off by just a little bit, kind of like that. So it's off by probably about 1/4 inch from the same alignment. I don't think it's that big of a deal. We'll put this on the wall. It clearly says up. And I know this side here goes in, so time to head back over and put this on the wall. Here we are with the wired mounting plate installed. Installed great. And it was not able to exactly reuse the same holes that was there before. Not that big of a deal. I got it all kind of covered up so it looks at least reasonably nice. Now I've got the wire here that's going to the cameras. I'm going to just have to kind of route off to the side. Not that big of a deal. I'm going to take the new opener. Snaps right on. I'm going to have to now run this wire up over to the opener and then come back with some wire staples. I'm going to try to reuse some of the wire staples that I used on the camera as best as I can, and then connect that to the opener. And I'm going to try using the same terminal as the wireless port to see if I can use it both at the same time. If not, we'll just switch to this and we'll see what happens. Now after installation, hopefully you can see a glowing green button here that indicates that we do have 5 volts to the wall controller. And so if I press number 2, this should be my fan. And easily I can see the first press of the button, it worked. There was no balking, there was no delay. It worked exactly the way I expected it to do. The light button, on, off. Maybe you can tell an ambient change, but again, immediate response. Press the garage door button. No hesitation, works exactly the way it's supposed to do. Very happy about that. Now taking a look up top at, this is on the right side if you're looking backwards towards the opener on the port. I've got 2 sets of wires feeding in to each terminal. One of those wires is for that wall module, the other one is for the wireless module that I've got simultaneously installed. And so now I can put that with my toolbox, and I can control my accessories from the toolbox, because the regular openers don't do that. So this actually is going to turn into be something that's pretty awesome. Let's give that a quick test while we're right here. So right here, right by it, wireless opener in hand. Hit number 2 should be the fan. And it works. The hiccup being is that, let's see if I put the opener right here. I'm pressing it, no response because of the finicky radio signal. So I'm probably going to have to play a little bit with the placement of the receiver relative to the rest of the superstructure in my garage so I can get the optimal line of sight signal to be able to try to pull this off. That's going to take some trial and error for me, and that's going to depend exactly on your situation for how you want to make that work for you. But indeed, you can use both the wired and the wireless at the same time. This is fantastic. All right, I'm standing by my toolbox. You can see my upper chest right here, and I think you can see the opener up there. Let's press number 2 for the fan. All right, I'm going to have to move this out of sight. There, as you can see, at least if I aim it somewhere nearby, this is going to work. So I can operate this from the door where you're supposed to have your opener panel and this. So what I'm going to try to do, and I'm not going to show this in the video. So I'm going to move where the receiver is. That's going to play with that's going to be some fun with wiring. One other mod I had to put with this, so I had a choice. Either I could try to move my indoor keypad, add a bunch, or the receiver for the indoor keypad, and route it somewhere else, or I was able to take it apart, and then I used, I think it was like a 3/64 drill bit, and there was a coil of wire inside that I just pulled out, and I wrapped it around a nail here to try to create a little coil of wire as an antenna. And since I've done that, it's worked almost flawlessly. That's been a nice little hack to the antenna on that. Otherwise, the reception on this was causing quite a bit of frustration. After some more playing around with the opener, I ended up making a little back here out of this is just some 3/4 inch hardwood. I didn't use plywood, I just wanted something a little bit harder. I cut it out, then used a sander to be able to round over the corner so it kind of fits flush with it. And then I screwed the backing to here, and then you see here I put electrical tape around to kind of seal up the sides of it before I snap the cover back on, just to keep dust out, because there's quite a bit of an air gap, as you may have seen earlier. And then in my case here, I put a little hook at the top of it, so then I can take with that hook, so I can move the camera here, and I can just kind of hang it on my pegboard there, and I can easily grab and take it off if I need to use it while I'm over at my toolbox. And so I can sit here and then press, let's see, and if here we go, on, off, we'll hit the fan. There you go. And you can see, I don't feel like opening the door right now, but you can see that the opener works just fine. And I've got it just ready right here as a secondary controller here that can control all 7 of my ports, the open and close of the door, and the light from my workbench. And I still have the other controller beside my door at the exit of the garage. So if I'm working at my workbench here, I'm working on my car, I need to open the garage door, I want to turn on my fan while I'm working, quick tap of the button here and I can do it. I don't have to pull out my phone to try to find the app, tap it open, and do it that way. I've got the remote right here. So I think this is kind of a great hack. If you can find one of these, I know these are getting harder and harder to find since I don't know if Ryobi can legally import these or not anymore. But thought I'd share this with you from when I was able to find and throw together. And if you've got the Ryobi garage door system and you've got another clever use, check it out and put in the comments below. We'd love to hear about it. Have a great day. Bye.